Convicted of manslaughter. I want to die. Writing about this online for everyone to see might be an awful idea. I'm not even sure what I'm looking for here. Maybe comfort, or maybe if enough people tell me how horrible I am and that this is all my fault, I'll finally end things. I'm sorry if this sounds like rambling. I'm usually a much better writer than this, but I can't look at this long enough to proofread. I've also never posted on Reddit before, so I'm sorry if I mess up formatting or something else. In 2018, I was driving to work. As part of my commute, I had to stop at an intersection with through traffic. So I waited until I saw it was clear, and then started crossing. I saw nothing coming towards me. Suddenly there was a car right in front of me. I slammed the brakes, but there was no time. The front bumper of my car hit the tail and rear wheel of hers. It was a small enough collision that it felt the same as going over a speed bump. First accident I had ever been in almost 12 years of driving. Okay, this sucks, but at least it's not major, I thought. Then I looked back and felt my heart stop. The hit had sent her into a spin down the road. She spun out into the opposing lane where she was struck by a third car. Everything in my body went cold. I made it through the intersection and parked my car on the other side as soon as I could. Then I looked down at the crash site and saw her body in the road, dead. One of the bystanders got in front of me, saying, don't look, there's no pulse." I couldn't feel anything. I tried to dial 911, but couldn't speak to the dispatcher, so someone else had to dial it in. Highway patrol showed up, so did the local news. One passerby stopped in the middle of the road to take pictures of the body with her phone. And when the patrol came to take my statement, I explained all this and just broke down sobbing. My dad came to pick me up and take me home, and I lay in bed all week, not eating, not sleeping, just crying. About a month later, the police report came, listing me as at fault for the fatality. About 2 months later, we get a letter from the DMV. We're revoking your driver's license effective immediately. Come to an administrative hearing if you want to explain your case. We lawyered up. The lawyer and investigator did their own examination. Our investigator found the police report and diagram was completely wrong. Didn't match the scene. Didn't even match the police's own pictures that they took of the accident. The deceased's vehicle was proven to have been speeding. The intersection has a history of accidents, including one exactly like mine that happened the very next day. The road has a dip in the middle of it that can hide an oncoming car from view. And the witness on the other side of the road, opposite to me, also crossing through, also didn't see the car coming and had to hit the brakes at the last second. Despite all this, the decision of the DMV was to side with the highway patrol because they were there. I'm still at fault. License revoked. We've heard nothing from the DA's office this entire time. Then, almost a year later, we got the notice. They were going through with the charge and it would be going to trial. I then find out that part of being criminally charged means having to be booked in jail. Pat downs all over my body. Mugshots. Fingerprinted. Waiting 2 hours in the jail for the fingerprints to go through. Finally, I'm allowed to leave. As I'm being escorted out the door, the sheriff looks at me and says, "Well, as long as you learned your lesson and stopped drinking or doing drugs or whatever it was." It broke me all over again, and I end up sobbing uncontrollably outside the jail. Trial scheduled February 2020. DA's office not ready. Delayed to June. COVID hits. Delayed to January of next year. COVID restrictions still in place and they can't get people to come to jury duty. Delayed to summer 2021. Then the trial finally comes, a full 3 years after the accident even happened. It's a week long. I sit there listening to the DA describe all the ways in which it's my fault she's dead. I didn't look well enough before crossing. She had the right of way. Then the defense. The intersection is the most dangerous in the county with a history of similar accidents. If she hadn't been speeding, she wouldn't have entered into oncoming traffic. I might have been able to see her in time. Dip in the roadway, incorrect police report, everything. Throughout it all, there's what everyone else in the court is saying. That the defense is strong. That there's no way the jury would convict. The jury debated for 4 hours. Unanimous decision. Guilty. Convicted of manslaughter for the rest of my life. I told my dad I wanted to die now. There was nothing left for me anymore. No reason to continue. And then I watched my father, my pillar through all of this, finally break, sobbing as he begged me to stay. I'm trying for him. I love him, but I still want to die. Every single day I weigh the pros and cons in my head of killing myself, not killing myself. What right do I have to be here when she's not? Every single day I think about her and her family. It's the first thing I think of when I wake up in the morning. I can't write or draw anymore. I spend as much time as I can sleeping, because it's too painful to be awake. I was already suicidal before this happened. Some days all I can think about is how, if I had just had the courage to kill myself years ago, I would be dead and she would still be alive. And then things would be how they're supposed to be. I'm sorry this is long. Thanks for reading. Edit. Thank you to everyone who has been kind. It helps. I had to take a break off Reddit after posting this because I couldn't emotionally handle being near it, but I'm trying to come back to it now. I'm going to try to answer everyone's comments when I can. I am apparently more tech illiterate than I thought because I can't seem to figure out how to reply to comments. But in the meantime, here is some of the information that I've seen being asked for. 1. I have tried to do an appeal, but every legal professional I've spoken to says that there's no chance, because you have to prove that there was something wrong with the trial proceedings and therefore you did not receive a fair trial before your appeal would even be considered. In my case, the presiding judge did not make errors in the trial proceeding, and so, according to the legal professionals, I have no grounds for an appeal. If there is anyone here with legal experience who knows differently, I would love to have some kind of hope for this, but everyone around me has told me that I'm at a dead end. 2. The prosecution attempted to put me into jail, but the judge shot him down. The judge gave me 80 hours of community service and an informal probation, which means no check-ins, though that led its own problems and is another story. The judge also ended my probation early once I finished the community service. 3. To those saying this is fake, I wish more than anyone else that that was correct. I'd give almost anything for this to be a fake story. Sadly, it's real. There is a news article online and the contents of the trial are public record. I would link it here, but I don't want the deceased's information shared without the family's consent. I can't think of anything I've left out or been disingenuous about when telling this story, but I'm open to answering questions if you feel something isn't adding up. Also, I'm not offended nor do I find it insensitive if you want to question the validity of this post. I'm a massive skeptic myself about stories on the internet, so I understand the mistrust. I hope people will believe me, but I understand if they don't. 4. My lawyer was extremely kind and extremely competent, and so was his investigator. He and the entire courtroom appeared to be in shock over the jury's verdict. 5. I am in therapy, including specialized trauma therapy where they have me doing something called EMDR. I don't understand it that well, but it's helping somewhat. I'm also very lucky to have good family by my side that has been carrying me through this. Thanks for everyone who is concerned about me.